Guys, gals, and everything in between. Alrighty, it's another weekend, another movie. It was a pretty slow movie weekend, but you know what? Something kind of was sliding through the cracks for a lot of you. And, well, I'm here to point it out. It Follows. It Follows is the small-time horror film basically about a creature that manifests because of certain sexual human activity and follows them around until the inevitable moment that it kills them and then goes on, unless, of course, this disease is passed on to the next person, in which case it goes to the next in line. Our film revolves around a group of teenagers played by Maika Monroe and a bunch of others. This film is directed by David Robert Mitchell, and his notable works include Awkward. This guy is nowhere on the map. Like, he's nowhere to be found. But this movie he does have. And it's a rockin' start to his career, I'll give him that. This, to me, was a very good 80s throwback horror movie. It was well shot, well acted. Is it a perfect movie? Not really. But ultimately what you get is a tribute of sorts to movies like Halloween, and even like the old school like B sci-fi movies like They Came from Outer Space. It's a very dark, very down low, like, this is a downer. Other critics around the globe are hyping it up. Scariest movie ever made. Scariest movie I've ever seen. I was trembling for hours afterwards. Is it gonna make you tremble for hours afterwards? No. It Follows has that creepy vibe to it, but I just have to say, one thing for me, it does not pass the scare test, because I live out in the middle of the forest, over by a mountain, literally away from a town in the middle of nowhere. So I just have to say, I was able to get out from my car on the property and walk in the dark all the way to my door in the woods, open up the door, not be a single bit like paranoid or freaked out. I just walked up, unlocked the door, and went in. So to me, because I wasn't traumatized, walking like walking around like I'm horrified, going like, doing the head rotate. You know, when you go home and watch a terrifying movie and you're like, oh, what was that? What was that? Why did my microwave go off? I know I was cooking Hot Pockets, but why did it go off? Because we clearly set Hot Pockets for 3 minutes, and that went off at 2 minutes and 59 seconds. Well, actually, it might have been 3 minutes, but it doesn't matter. Why did it go off? It wasn't that scary. It had a creepy tone to it. I have to say, also, directing-wise, the film is shot beautifully. Every shot is well done. It doesn't have shaky cam, and anyone who's looking to be a young independent filmmaker who doesn't have much money, definitely watch this film, because it absolutely shows that you can make a very well done movie with no budget and a very, very simple story. Because the story is pretty simple. Basically, kids bang, disease follows kids, it tries to kill kids, kids fight back against it. And they used little to no money, and it was great. Now, there were some really unnecessary images and some plot holes, like certain characters, like there's just outfits that they just have now, and apparently they just sort of magically acquired clothing. And that's a real small nitpick, but there's just certain things that just are never explained, and it's not like one of those things where you're like, oh, they're clearly artistically going for that way. It's just like, wait, no, that doesn't make sense. Oh, whatever. It's Ex Machina. It follows Ex Machina. The film does drag. I'm not gonna lie. The film drags in spots, but it honestly is intense enough that when it drags, you're gonna get something soon. And the praise to the music. The guy who did the music score Oh my god, it is fantastic. It is intense, it is a throwback to the 80s, it is scary, it is scarier than the movie. It did drag, I did have some difficulties. Mako Monroe, she is gorgeous and she is so talented. I was really surprised because if you looked at her from a distance and they said that she was signed on to a motion picture, you'd be like, oh, you know, she's that attractive girl that can't act, but she's in there because she looks like how she looks. But no, she actually can act, and she in fact carries this whole movie, because the friends, whatever, like, even the characters, their names are so forgettable. I had to look them up later. Like, I had no clue who the characters' names were. And that is usually a bad sign. Look at Divergent. People need to remember your characters' names, because otherwise that means your characters are forgettable. Mako Monroe was the most memorable character. The friends in it couldn't really act that well. I mean, some of them did do well at times. And there were some really creepy moments. They did it all practically. I'm pretty sure everything in this film was practical. I absolutely loved it. I was very entertained, but it's a flawed movie, but I feel like it could still be enjoyed. Like, I enjoyed it, but not to the point that I was like, oh my god, that blew my mind, or that was so scary. It was just, you know, I walked out and went, oh yeah, that was good. So I'd have to say that if you go to a early admission or discounted showing of this film, that is when you'll get your biggest bang for your buck. Is, you know, if you want to go see kind of a scary movie, or like an intense movie, because it's intense, go see It Follows. Bring your friends along too. That's what I'd recommend. It's most fun with more company. Okay, guys, gals, and everything in between. Are you guys gonna go see It Follows? And what's your favorite retro horror movie from, like, the 80s? We're gonna go with the 80s, sticking with the theme of the movie. What do you guys think? Don't forget to let me know what you're thinking, and please subscribe. I encourage it. I welcome all. And as always, more videos coming to you.